Hello, welcome to Swiss Watch Cam, welcome to a new review. Today we're gonna talk about the Crown, the most powerful brand in the watchmaking industry. I doubt there is a single viewer of this channel who doesn't know the Rolex brand. When we talk about Rolex watches, the thing that comes to your mind is probably the Submariner, the GMT Master, the Explorer, or the Daytona if you like a chronograph. But my favorite watch from Rolex is the Rolex Skydweller. As a fan of high complication watches and functions, I really like the Skydweller just for this purpose, because it's not just another diver watch. If you've seen my collection video, you notice that I don't own any Rolexes. Between all the models Rolex is currently offering, the Skydweller would definitely be a worthy competitor. Today we're going to talk about the reference number 326934 with the blue dial, owned and lent to me by my friend. You can also follow him on Instagram under the nickname GMTPYMY. I'm going to also put it in the description. The Rolex Skydweller was introduced to us in Basel 2012. It features a unique movement which only this model houses. The blue dial is definitely the most sought after Skydweller on the market, and it fetches a exorbitant second-hand price. The dial has a gorgeous sunburst finish, which Rolex is known for. So why do I like the Skydweller so much? Because of two things. Number one, it's an annual calendar and not just your normal diver's watch from Rolex. And number two, it's because of the Ring Command bezel. As you can see, this beautifully made fluted bezel, which is actually in white gold and gorgeously polished, actually moves. And it's not a diver's watch. So what does it do? The Ring Command bezel is something Rolex developed especially for this model. And it's actually a bezel with which you can choose the functions of the watch. So how do you actually manipulate it? You have to first unscrew the crown. And as you see, the bezel starts moving around. What you then do is you pull the crown to the second position. When the bezel is turned to the far right, the crown is in neutral position and you can't change anything. As you see, I'm winding it now and it doesn't change the time or any display. One turn counterclockwise and you actually hear the little click. Now you set the date indication, as you can see. It's under the 2.5 magnifying Cyclops glass Rolex is also known for. And when you switch the dates and you jump from 31 to 1, you'll see there's a small aperture here in red that's gonna jump to 1 o'clock. This goes backwards and forwards. This is actually the month indicator. A dial usually has 12-hour markers. And what Rolex did here is they used the 12-hour markers also as month indicators. The months are indicated by a small aperture behind each index. So the 12 o'clock indicates December, 1 o'clock indicates January, 2 o'clock February, and so on. And once the date goes from 31 to 1, you will see the indicator for the month also jump. Turning the Ring Command bezel one step to the left again until you hear the click, you actually activate the local time. So the local time is set by this hour hand, and when you turn the local time, the date also jumps. It doesn't jump backwards, only forwards. Turning the Ring Command bezel again counterclockwise until you hear the little step. Actually with this you can set up your reference time. The reference time is displayed here with this 24-hour ring. The 24-hour ring is sunken, and because the finish of it is a bit different to the sunburst dial, you can see it a bit clearly as well. Let's imagine now we go on a plane and travel to a country which is 6 hours ahead of Switzerland. The local time in Zurich now is 10 o'clock in the evening, that's why the 24-hour chapter ring is set to 22. We board the plane and we want to set the watch for when we land. So we will now turn the Ring Command bezel one step to the right, clockwise, and we will jump for 6 hours. Here we go. Now we know that the local time in Switzerland is 22, so 10 p.m. and the time to which we're heading to is 4 in the morning. And you also saw the date jumped. The dial features raised indexes and the hands and the indexes are actually luminescent. Rolex watches feature chromalite, which is a kind of luminescent material which is supposedly twice better than normal superluminova. It also has this beautiful blue color. What's also distinct for Rolex watches is that the inner side of the bezel actually features the Rolex name and the logo inscribed on it. All the indexes, the Rolex logo at 12 o'clock, as well as the hands are beautifully polished. Below the hour and minute hand you have the skydweller name, and you can also read that this is a Oyster Perpetual Superlative Chronometer and officially certified. So what does that mean? The movement inside this watch is the 9001 movement, which is officially made only for the skydweller. It was introduced in 2012, the same year as the watch of course, and it's a very durable and reliable movement. Rolex having a reliable and durable movement is nothing new. That's also one of the many reasons people love to wear them. So the movement is actually COSC certified on its own. The superlative chronometer states that when the movement is cased, the watch still performs very well, -2 +2 seconds per day. The case and the bracelet are made out of stainless steel, and the fluted bezel is in white gold. That's why it shines so nicely. The Oyster bracelet is a 3-link bracelet which is polished in the middle and satin finish on the sides. This model features the Easylink extension bracelet. What that means is that you can extend your bracelet for 5 millimeters. For example, now the bracelet is fully extended, and let's make it a bit more tight now. Voila, you actually hear the click. Turning the watch around, you can see that Rolex puts no inscriptions on the case back. It's beautifully polished on the side and brushed on the middle. The skydweller case is also water resistant to 100 meters, which means you can easily wash your hands with this watch and also take a shower. Let me now put the watch in the wrist and show how it fits me. Because the watch has a beautiful blue dial, I also chose this blue suit jacket. The diameter of the Rolex Skydweller is 42 millimeters, and it's actually quite a tall watch as well. It's actually 14 millimeters thick. It wears a bit on the heavy side, but if you want a watch with an annual calendar and a second time zone, you have to fit all these functions somewhere. The retail price of the Rolex Calibre is surprisingly at 14,100 Swiss franc, which in my opinion, for an annual calendar and the GMT so to speak, is quite a good value. On the secondary market, this exact model with the blue dial goes for around 22,000 Swiss francs. Like most Rolex models, especially those with a blue dial, this demands a premium. I'm curious to see what you think about the Rolex Skydweller model, and also let me know in the comment section below what is your favorite Rolex watch. On the side there's a photo of a watch to review next week on the channel. If you know which watch this is, leave a comment down below. I'm curious if you'll guess this one right. Like this video, subscribe and share with a friend who likes watches as much as you do. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.